Hi everybody, it's me Lagar Laxon, also known as Chino and Artie. I am proud to do this review. I've been waiting more than how many years to make a review like this. Um, this is actually the best find I have so far because I've been doing a lot of reviews and I always wanted one since 2011. I finally got my dream phone. Yes, this is my dream phone. The Sony. It's a Sony Ericsson Play. Okay. Now, the version I got right here is actually a European kiosk version. So basically, this is the one that was released during what do you call it? You know, when it was released, it was actually the one they use on the displays. Now look at that. This is now at first that's how the phone looks like as a regular phone. It's just regular sitting like this. And then when you open it, you got a slider that reminds you of the PSP Go. Okay, the PSP Go, and it has the same controller and everything layout. You got two triggers, L and R. You don't. It lacks the L and R too, but it slides perfectly. I like the best part about it is actually how it has a touch analog sticks. It's kind of awkward saying that, but touch analog. But look at this, it's just perfect. Now this specific phone was released in around 2011 in March, I believe. And when I saw this, I fell in love. I said I gotta get this phone, but during that time I couldn't afford it, and I was already doing a lot of knockoff reviews. I have so many Android-based products that are already knockoff, and I was already into the Ouya. I was into all these other things, and then, but I really wanted this phone, and after years later, it's really hard to track this phone because you cannot find it brand new. Me, I tend to buy brand new stuff, so I tend to buy new stuff, but I want something I really want. I want to have brand new, and I have to buy two of them. So, what did I get when I got the box? Okay, so like I said, version I have was a kiosk version. So comparing it from the final product is different. Okay, the version they have right here says Sony Experia Play. You know, in the bottom right here. Look at this. From the other version, it says Xperia on the bottom, while the version I have, it says Verizon. Because this was made for a Verizon kiosk. So, the other part is about the unit is that I'm not able to use the SIM card feature on it. So, okay. That's the sad part, is that I'm not able to use the phone feature. So, now, the other part about this phone that I gotta talk about is that I mean, I like the wallpaper. It's actually moving. It's actually a live wallpaper. So when you compare the box, okay, this is the one I have, and this is the final one. It's basically missing certain stuff on it. You know, like what what it is. So when I opened it, it came with headphones that's never been used, and the other headpieces were safely tucked into these little things. It's a little baggy right there. That's for me to adjust my headphone size if you have a bigger ear. And underneath this, I got the charging for the wall, USB charging. It says Sony on it. And I have the data sync cable, which is just nothing but a USB 2.0 micro USB cable. And I finally got it. The reason why I wanted the Sony Experia Play back then was that, one, the life of the battery. Sorry about that. I love Pepsi. The battery will last you a long time. The next part is, it's as big as the iPhone 4. Okay? But it's a little more thicker, of course, because you have a built-in controller. It's just a little fat. It is heavy in weight. The phone feature is mostly featured on the controller part. You know, the board assembly is on the all you have is that LCD on top, and then I gotta say, this is like the best find I ever had, because I always wanted a phone that's all in one, because they already have made in China ones that are, you know, phones that have, but they're not 3G and this and stuff. So I be doing this. I have the iPega controller. I have the Moga controller. Or you can put it on a stand and start using the Ouya controller that costs $49. While this version I have right here, this Moga, costs $99. And I like this phone a lot. And there is a lot of features that enthusiasts will enjoy this phone, because I actually have Super Nintendo Retro in here, and Bruce Lee. I even have Crash Bandicoot. Then I have an app to convert my ISO images that are PlayStation 1 to run on this unit. The only thing about it is that it only has Android Gingerbread, so that's an Android 2.3. You cannot go any higher than 4.0. You can't even go to 4.0. They do have a homebrew edition of it, but it's still buggy because due to the hardware, it only has one core, a single core ARM processor, and it's a little downgrade. But comparing this to a Pandora, forget the Pandora. If I actually use the phone feature, it'll be great, because this is a phone that I will baby a lot for some reason. I love this phone. It just feels good. I finally got it. I'm just excited. I just got it yesterday. So when you slide it, and then you got a controller, and then when you're texting, you're just using the touch screen. So you have the controller right there. So that's actually a good design. The other part is comparing to Pandora. Pandora's the price. The price was so steep on that one. It's like 500 something. Well, this one's as a phone, and it has a Droid, so you have multiple apps that you're able to be accessed on. So this is actually a great. I mean, you can see in YouTube there's a lot of videos of this unit. I gotta say the speaker is very, very loud. Okay, and it's really amazing how this unit can be all in one. But due to okay, this came out before the Vita. Okay, this came out during that time when I already had a knockoff Vita, which I have high views in my channel. People trying to correct me big time when people didn't know what an NGP was. I miss this game. That's Crash Bandicoot. Now, I'm gonna say there is something wrong with Sony about this, okay? Because I gotta say Sony did mess up. This unit didn't become successful because what happened was the Sony Experia Play came out prior to the Vita, and then the Vita came out around November. And I gotta say about this Sony Experia Play is that they should have just made a better hardware and made it into a console phone all in one on the go, because you're competing against the Android market, you're competing against the iOS market. So why not have it all in one, not separate? Look at the Vita. You have a 3G and 4G edition as well as the Wi-Fi edition, and everything's proprietary. And look what happened to your success. It went down. So you're able to play some Android games on it because it is a Linux-based operating system. But it's basically they did the same step what Sega did. Sega Genesis. I mean, I remember they released the Sega Game Gear, and they killed their own console called the Nomad. The compatibility to play your original Sega Genesis games. It's just like the same thing as this. The compatibility to play your PlayStation 1 games. But this the only thing about this phone. It was quite underpowered now compared to today's phone. I mean, they could have made this compared to the Vita. Vita is actually more stronger, but it's a little underpowered. But if they can optimize games for this, it'll be great. But the design is so slick, and this is so perfect. Look at that. You got yourself a phone, and then you turn this way, you slide it up like the PSP Go, and you got yourself the Xperia Play Station experience. Of course, in my review back back then, I actually had an N-Gage, which is AKA the taco phone. That's what they call it, because I'm in California. I'm surrounded by Latinos here, so it looks like a taco in here. Okay, you're gonna talk on a phone like this. I'm so used to having the phone flat in my ear because it's a bar phone. This is a bar, not a flip phone or other. They have names they have model styles. I remember I gotta go dig for it. It's called an N-Gage, and you have to actually put the phone in your ear like this. And if you look at the hardware, it feels so cheap. It looks like they just took a cheap Nokia phone and put it in a wannabe Game Boy Advance. And I still have a Nokia. I'm using a Microsoft Nokia phone right now as we speak. That's what I'm recording right now through this video. But I am so happy to have this phone. You don't know how. Let me focus. It is just to finally. The only thing is, for example, when I go to more games right here, the drawback is they have no more support on this. And I mean, you can play a lot of games for it. A lot of people use this for emulators, and that's basically it, just emulators. You can't. I mean, they made only 40 games for this officially. Most of them are made by the Android maker games of GameStop or something like that. Um, the other part about it is let me put it right here. See, I mean, the quality of this is really the Bruce Lee game. I liked it, and then what else they have in here? I got FIFA, and it boots. So see how fast the games boots. There's only one drawback. I remember when I turned it on the first time, it took a long time. Almost a mere 4 minutes. Most of the games are developed by this game company called Gameloft. Those are the people who made games for controller base, and if I can actually focus, the resolution in this video quality is straight out 720p, nearly 1080i in quality by using the way you view things in your eyes. I love this phone. I waited for this phone. This is the first and only cell phone to ever feature a a touch analog stick that simulates for you to have an analog stick. The drawback is you don't have an R1 and an L. I mean, you're not able to have an L2 and an R3, R2. What do you call it? Blah, tongue twister. L2 and R2 trigger. Now this phone is so great. I'm just using it, keeping it for collector purposes. So I just keep it right over here on my dock, and I finally got my trophy. This is actually, I can actually play my Game Boy Advance games other than my classics. The max peak of emulation to get the best out of it is all the way up to PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast emulation. You cannot do PSP emulation because it actually runs really choppy. Okay, comparing the screens from the PSP, it actually is a sharper image because it's a cell phone. When you look at the Vita, it's identical to the same resolution. It's very sharp, so you'll get what you pay for. It's really worth it. I bought this phone for $89.99 in eBay, brand new, and they told me the specs on it because I don't want to get a fake one. So I made sure that I got the real deal. But if I really want to use it, I know how to mod it because I know how to fix phones. I'm actually gonna mod it to put in what do you call it? To make it unlock and put in a SIM card to use my AT&T. It was released by Verizon and then later on ported to AT&T. It was originally a CDMA. I got a spare battery that I bought on the side because you don't know, it's really hard to find these batteries now these days. So I have that right there sitting, and the headphones are beautifully sharp. It was nice. But if I'm really gonna play my classics on the go, I am going to stick to my traditional Moga. I got my Moga set up right here, and this is how I just play my games on the side because I really baby this guy because this is the unit that I compare to Pandora. This is a unit I compare to my other portable emulation devices, and this is an all-in-one treat in one small palm of my hand. Not like this one, you can't even close it all the way. See, that's how far you can close it. And also price differences. Why buy Pandora when you have yourself the Sony Experia Play? Like I said, it only goes up to Android 2.3. It runs games on full speed. The max of comparing emulation, it's a PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast emulation. PSP emulation is not really sharp. MAME runs games perfectly. Sometimes the games it crashes, but I haven't really maxed out the potential until I make a part 2 of this console, because it's not really a console. It's actually a pure cell phone. It is a pure cell phone because you can't really say much about this phone because it's just a phone. The only thing I like about this is that it's the design, and it's just like having the Steam controller. I didn't like it, but I just happy to have a unit that's actually original. So I'm one of those shelf collectors, so I have a lot of games. And if I really want a laptop on the go, I actually have my RCA Android, and I have some Flex Android as well. I got my other Asus right here. It's a phablet. It's another phone by AT&T. Then I have this guy right here. I have my Nextbook Ace Aries 10-inch detachable screen. And I even got my Samsung. I got too many things. I mean, I got too many electronics that I don't know what to choose for. But back in the days, before I had the money, before I had all these things, I always wanted a Sony Ericsson, and this is it. I finally got it. I got my dream. It took a while. It took since 2011 for me to get it, and now I have my trophy right here sitting. I put a screen protector. I'm babying this guy. I got a spare battery. I got a docking bay for it. A cheap one. It was only $1, and then it's USB charging, and it just perfect. When you turn it on, it doesn't say Verizon or nothing like that because I already unlocked the phone. The next thing to do is trying to get the SIM card functioning. So I thank you guys for watching. So keep up to my channel, and please subscribe, and add me as your friend on Facebook. I am a friendly guy. If you have questions on computer products, put in my descriptions. I got answers, alright? And any electronic terms, except appliances. Thank you for watching.